don't know how many are on the call, but how many have right from that first meeting, you're like, this, I don't have, it's not in my gut. I don't feel it. And then a month, 2 months into the deal, you're pulling your hair out because your gut told you right from the beginning. So think about, go with your gut, because the aggravation that we get when we feel it in our gut and we move forward, in the end is not worth it, okay? Because not only are we trying to do well, have great careers, but we also have to think about the work-life balance and enjoying what you do and having the passion and every day getting up and saying, I can't wait to go to work. Well, if you're working with the wrong people and you're selling to the wrong people, you're not going to have that feeling. So always keep that in mind. Work with people that you know you're going to like to work with, because then it makes life enjoyable. You need to be a go-giver, not a go-getter. And this comes into play right now with everyone on my team here at DiMatteo Insurance reads a book. It's called The Go-Giver. I wish I had one because I'd like to just show you guys the cover. For those of you that aren't aware of that book, The Go-Giver, it's about karma. And I'm a big believer in karma. If you do right, right will always come back to you. Don't think about the money. Don't think about, oh, well, I'm doing all this stuff, I'm not getting paid for it. Just do in your heart what feels right, because karma comes back, okay? Continually add value to yourself. Make yourselves different. Put others' interest in front of your own. Don't, think about the other person. Don't think about yourself. Think about that person that you're working with. And this goes into the team that you work with and the clients that you're working for. And this even goes into your family. Put others first, because then good will follow, okay? Be a servant to your leader. Give back to the community. Now, this goes so far, and for those of you that are working moms, giving back to the community can be so much, and you can bring your kids with you. They can be part of it, but again, give, and then you're gonna get back, okay? Put yourselves in client shoes. Understand their world. Right now, it's been a difficult time, I'm sure, for all of us. In the insurance industry, during COVID, it's been very hard for our clients. A lot of them thought that they had insurance coverage for the claims, the loss of business income claims that they were getting. Well, they didn't. And we had to be as compassionate as possible to them and understand what they were going through. I just have to move this because I can't see the rest of the screen. Okay. Stop being transitional. Okay. Understand you must give to get. I think that is so big, giving to get, right? What goes around comes around. How many times have our parents said to that? What goes around comes around. I heard it my whole life. Kim, what goes around comes around. And my mom was normally correct. It's about being sticky, okay? And sticky, in my opinion, is making your own mark, okay? Number one, your personal brand. Prospects that connect with you on an emotional level and who need the services you provide will be a quicker close than a stickier client, okay? Tell your story over and over. Oh no, this might be a problem. I did something. There we go. Sorry about that, peeps. Now I have to move the little camera, the video thing is in my way, so I can't see everything. I'm sorry. Be who you are. That's huge. Don't pretend to be somebody that you're not. People can feel that. When you come out, you know, a lot of you that know me, I say what's on my mind all the time. Sometimes it's probably not the best thing, but I am who I am. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I don't have anything to hide. If I screw up, I admit it in a heartbeat. Just be authentic, be who you are, because people feel that, and that's so important. And again, you know, tell your story over and over again. I don't know why I even put that in there, what that means, but it's there. Know your ideal client. You know, I think that this is really important is, and I'm going to say this time and time again throughout our little time together, but know your client. Not everybody is a fit, and that goes back to the gut. You know, you want to know who you want to sell to. You know, there's people in our association that I want to be their friend. I want to have them as a client, and I want to sell to them. And then, quite frankly, there's people I know my personality. I know I'm not going to, it's not going to work, you know. So I tend to move away from those people. I want to be around people that make me happy, clients that make me happy. Now, does that always happen? No. But if you have a goal to try to make that happen, then perhaps it will. Knowing who you're selling to is so important. We've read in our organization, it's a book called Hug Your Client, and it's by Jack Mitchell from Richard's Clothing Store in Greenwich. Anyone that has read that, you want to know your clients, because the more that you could connect with them, the more they trust you, and the more that they're not going to leave you. Okay, so it's not always just about getting clients, it's about keeping them. And knowing your clients, knowing, again, what kind of dog they like, you know, what their hobbies are. And having your team, if you're a sole proprietor and you're doing it on your own, then you need to know it all. But if you have a team that you work with, you want your team to know about them. You want them to know that when Jack Smith calls and he's not talking to Kim, but he's talking to Rebecca or somebody else in my office, that they're going to say, hey, I heard you just got married or just had a kid. How far do you think that goes with the relationship that you're building? If somebody that they don't even know knows what your favorite color is, maybe that's taking it a little too far, but you know, knowing that they have 3 kids, knowing that one of their kids is going to Florida State next year, you know, things like that go a long way. And it's important that, you know, we know our clients. Steph, can you guys all hear me okay? Everything is coming through okay? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, great. Again, not every client is a good one. And I'll touch on this because when I was young, I ran after every single client. Anybody that would give me a minute, you know, they were a client. But as you get older and you start feeling more confident, you don't need to do that. And to be quite frank, for young sales folks, you don't need to do that either. You're just as important as everybody else, and not every client's going to be a fit. And learn that early on, because it will make your job so much better and so much more enjoyable. Who would you love to work with? They need to like you and you need to like them. Again, touching on that relationship and working with people that you like and people that like you, who can bring so much value to they would never want to work with anyone else. So just in that, saying that bringing more value, being a step ahead of your competition all the time is so worthy, because, and you need to be a step ahead, because everyone is fighting for the same thing, right? Well, you want to be able to be ahead of your clients all the time. every time I touch this, it goes to a different slide, so I'm not going to touch it anymore. You want to be ahead of your competition. Adding special values that are what your clients want. Okay, and I know sometimes that's hard because it could get costly, but be creative. Think out of the box. And the other thing is, and this is really, really important, know your competition. Know who is working next to you, because if you know them, you can outsell them and you can outwork them. So you need to know your competition all the time in every area that you work. Knowing that whoever you're working with can afford your service. The bottom line is, just because we're all in sales, we all need to make money. That's why we're doing it. And you don't want to sell to somebody that can't afford you. You have values, where your price line falls. Don't sell to somebody that can't afford you. Again, that becomes a headache. Who wants that headache? Right? You want to sell to people that can't afford you and that will pay you and that won't give you a headache. Sorry, I got to move this little thing again. Okay, it's just saying all 3 apply. All right. Make your prospect list. I tell my team, you need 10 prospects always. And these are the people you want. I think anybody that's in the sales industry, they know who they want to sell to. You want to have those 10 prospects, and the sky is the limit on who those are, okay? And what you want to do is you want to start working those people. You want to start getting close to them. You want to start having them know who you are. If it's on LinkedIn, get your face in front of them. If it's at one of our networking meeting, introduce yourself, and you don't have to tell them what you do right away, but just coming in, starting to get to know them, letting them know you so they can start building that trust. You don't want to just go in on that top 10. Oh, here's my card. I'm Kim DiMatteo. I work for DiMatteo Insurance. Can I quote on your insurance? That's not, you want to build the relationship. So when you start talking business, they already know you. They felt your karma. They felt, your mojo. So you want to hold off before you go in to start discussing, what it is that you do. And I'm not saying don't tell people what you do. That's not, that's not what I'm saying at all. But what I'm saying is, you don't want to get and be aggressive. You want to take your time, build the relationship so there's trust. So when you do start talking professionally about what your services are, they're going to be open to it because you've already broken that barrier over. And sometimes this can take months. This can take years. I worked on a client last month or the month before. He's been a member of the Home Builders since I have. So you're going back 30 years. And I've talked to him over and over. We've been on committees together. We've done stuff. And I think early on in my career, I talked to him about insurance. He said he was with a friend, and then I kind of left it at that. And it dawned on me, I was like, gosh, I haven't talked to him we're friendly, about his insurance. And I brought it up to him, at the beginning of the year. And actually, I think it was at IBS. And he was like, sure, I can't believe, you never asked me again after all those years. I would have been willing to talk to you. And, that was shame on me because although I was building the relationship, I forgot the part of why I was building the relationship. But it all worked out well. And, I was able to land the deal. But we have to remember that, folks, situations change also. So especially if you become friendly with them, don't give up on them. Don't be a pest, but check in with them. I like to always label my prospects. A is certainly somebody that I want to continue to work on, become friendly with, you know, talk to them more. B, you know, a little bit not as warm as A's, and then C's are probably my last, you know, conversation that I'm going to have if I have time. Okay. So you do want to kind of label, because we have to remind our minds also of what we're looking to do. So getting it, I know I'm a visual person. I need to see things to remember them. So that's how I do it. What is your unique value? You know, what do you bring to the table? That's important. You know, and we talked about it, knowing your competitors. What are you doing that your competitors are not? And knowing your prospects is important as well. I'm big on niche marketing. You know, we do a lot of it within our organization. We call it segments, okay? So, you know, we have our construction segment. We also have a hotel segment as well as HOA segments. So, but when you work in a segment, you start learning to know what your clients' needs are, right? So that's what you want to know is, all right, what is it that I can really add value to? And it's not just insurance. So when I'm working, I'm not just selling insurance. You know what I'm selling? I'm selling my knowledge, but I'm also selling other services. You know, hey, I insure the majority of general contractors, right, in Fairfield County. When I'm talking to my clients, I'm like, hey, if you need a sub in the electrician or you need a plumber, let me know, because I can help you out there. Or if I have somebody that's new, that's a trade contractor, and we walk into a networking meeting, first thing I say to them, is there anybody that you want to meet here? I'll introduce you. So I'm selling a value, that's not insurance, right? None of that is insurance. That's a value that I'm selling. Did somebody have a question? No? Okay, I'm sorry. So, you know, and then just other things. If I know something that's going on in the industry that I'm selling to, I want to talk to my prospects. Hey, did you hear about this new guideline that's being put into place? Or again, know what your industry that you're targeting. Or, you know, for those of you that are in interior decorators, you know, what are you know, everybody has different segments, right? You're selling to high end, you're selling to, you know, your middle class, you're selling to maybe your low income, maybe not low income, but you know what their needs are. You know what somebody in Greenwich is going to be looking for compared to somebody in Fairfield, right? Understand the designers that they like, you know, and ask those questions. Don't dictate to them what you know. Listening is so important, and asking questions is even more important, because no matter what industry you're in, okay, if you're in insurance, if you're an interior decorator, if you're a realtor, we're not going to know what it is that we're trying to, us as the client, okay, is not going to know what the sales person or is trying to pull out. So you have to go and you have to ask the questions to get the answers. Okay, so if you have a list of stuff that you know is really important, that you need to set yourself apart or whatever, ask questions so you can pull it out from your client and understand their needs, and then listen. And I know so many people have listened to these sales presentations or whatever, and you hear over and over about, you know, making sure that you're a good listener, but making sure that you're a good listener, but also ask the questions so folks will talk to you, okay? So you can learn more. Your core values is so important. Think emotional connections. You know, again, it just goes back to relationships. Everything that we're talking about goes back to relationships. Marketing and sales. You know, don't toss spaghetti at the wall and hope it sticks. Have a plan. Plans are important. Strategic plans are really important. You know, sit down, think about, where do you want to be in a year, in 5 years? Okay, It's simple. Where do I want to be? Well, I want to have a beach house in Fairfield. Okay, well, how do I need to get there, right? Well, I have to do 20 sales every month. Okay, well, how am I going to do that? You have to have some sort of a plan. You have to have goals, and then you got to look at them. It's okay to write them down, but if you don't look at them, what good are they? you know, I think, and I'll go to Rebecca, who I believe is on the call, but she's great with that. She writes down where she wants to be every single day. Every day
That's
she has
true.
a book, right? Every day
Every day.
she has a book, and there's 5 bullets, 5 things that she believes that she
10,
wants to get
actually.
to. Okay, 10. All right, 10.
10.
You're always trying to outshine everybody. No, kidding. But, that's important, because in the beginning of the year, writing down, well, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. I'm going to do this. Well, you know what? Life gets the best of you. And if you're not reminding your brain all the time of what you want to do, it's not going to happen. And, when we have questions and when we're chatting openly, I think Rebecca, I'm sure she would enjoy telling you a little bit about that and how she's seen a difference in that. So, that's important, to make sure that you have a plan, you stick to it, and you look at it. Your story needs to be told, your messages need to be sticky. So they need to be in the client's mind, what you're trying to get out there. Make sure that your clients understand, okay? And again, you want to be out there in social media. You want to get your face out as much as you can. And I'm going to talk, and for those of you that are in marketing, by all means, advertising and all of that is important. But I'll tell you, the best marketing that you can ever do is win awards, be out there doing community service, and get it published so people can see that you are truly a good person and that you do good. Because in all the years that I've been in business, that's where I hear, oh, I saw your story in the paper, you did great, that's wonderful, like blah, blah, on and on. I don't hear much. And again, people that are in marketing, I'm sorry, but I don't, oh, I saw your ad in the Connecticut Post, you want to quote on my insurance? I hear, wow, you've done good things. I'd love to do business with you. That type of stuff. Network. Again, getting away from the cold calling, which in my world doesn't work, but networking works. Networking is huge for me. I believe in it, and I believe that's how you build relationships. So I can't even tell you how important it is to be out there. If you're paying to be part of an association, get involved, meet the people, become friends with them, because that's how you're going to succeed. And those of you that have known me for a long time in this association, I say this over and over. The more that you're involved, it might take a year, it might take 2 years, but I promise it will come back to you. Make sure that you're being real. Don't have some old picture on social media that if somebody sees you, they're not going to recognize you. Have a picture of what you look like today, who you are, be yourself. And, if you're not a suit and tie person, don't have your profile be suit and tie. If you're relaxed and that's your personality, be relaxed. And believe me, I believe that you need to dress or act to the person that you're selling to, but it's okay to be yourself. Don't try to be somebody else, because, if I'm going into a board of directors at, a hotel, well, I'm going to dress appropriately. But if I'm going to a job site, I am a jeans and t-shirt gal. That's what I'm wearing. I'm going to be myself. I can still be myself in a suit, but I'm going to adjust to the folks that I am. On social media, I do want to be myself, okay? Oh, remember the KLTs. All right. So where am I on my notes? Know, like, and trust. That's what you want, is you want people to know you want them to like you, and you want them to trust you. So always just think about that. Don't be a salesperson. Nothing is worse than the sales pitch. The elevator, I mean, I grew up with it, that elevator speech, you know, back in the day, every sales class you went was have your elevator speech, well, I don't believe in the elevator speech. Again, doesn't work for me, doesn't mean that it won't work for somebody else, but that's not, I speak from the heart. When I sit and I talk to somebody, I'm speaking from here, not, something that somebody else wrote for me to say. Again, some of this I'm just repeating. Don't meet somebody immediately go for the sale. Get to know them. Be a listener, okay? And then this is big, is be a problem solver for that prospect or that client. Don't give everything away, however, okay? Because you don't want to be the problem solver and give all of your great ideas, and then they go and they give it to their friend Joe that didn't do any research for them or didn't have these ideas. But you got to find that happy medium where you want to show them that you know your stuff and you can solve their problems. However, you don't want to give it all away until they've signed on the dotted line. Be patient. Like I can't, again, I'll turn to Rebecca because she's on the phone and she works with me. And I think, this 3 to 5 year is true. For those of you that are new within any industry that you're in, especially a sales industry, it takes time. You need to be patient because it doesn't just happen for the most part. Not to say that it won't, but give yourself 3 to 5 years. And if you can make it through that time as a new salesperson, and this is owning your own business or working for somebody else, you have to be patient because, Rome wasn't built in a day. It takes time. And if you can be patient and get through that time period, you will be successful. And know that there are going to be ups and downs. That's how it is in the sales world. And be prepared for that. I think it's important that some people forget about that, is if you're in the sales world, prepare yourself for that, because you can have a year of amazing sales and you're making a boatload of money. Well, next year, the economy could change. Something might happen in the industry that you work in. Prepare yourself for that, because there's nothing more heart-wrenching or disturbing or demoralizing than going into a time where, you're in a downtime and then you have to continue to stay positive. If you're not planning and you're not planning for downtimes and knowing that in sales it happens, it's hard to get out of that funk when you're in it. So prepare that there are going to be downtimes. Always be a learner. I do everything in my power to be around smarter people than I am. I'm 50 years old and I don't know everything. And I want to learn all the time. And I don't care if it's I'm learning, and I'll be honest, I learn from my kids all the time. I learn from my husband. I learn from my team members, constantly, every day I learn something new. And that's how your mind should always think. You want to be around successful people because you're going to be, the more you're around successful people, the more successful you're going to be. Okay. And personal development. Make sure that you're taking classes. Make sure that you're the smartest within your industry. If you have designations, go for them. Because not only is it something at the end of your name, but it also is learning, and things change so quickly. And I don't care if you're in insurance, real estate, interior decorating, selling tile, whatever you're doing, things change on a daily basis. And you need to be ahead of the curve. You need to be the smartest that you can in the industry that you're working in. And if you're not learning, if you're not reading, you're not going to be that person. So make sure that you're there. we'll talk a little bit about current events. That's something that I struggle with. I do not like the news at all. And I don't know celebrities. It's not my thing. What I know is I know insurance and I know horseback riding inside and out. I could train a horse and I know everything that there is about that. When it comes to like who was the most popular actress, I have no idea. For a while, I was reading People magazine just so I can talk to people about what was going on in the entertainment industry. And now every morning I watch the news, although I can't stand it, just so I can talk to people about current events and what's going on. And it is important. When I was younger, I didn't think that it was important. And as I grew into my career, I found out how important it is. And you really need to be current with that kind of stuff.
Kim, I don't mean to interrupt, but you have a question on the chat. I didn't know if you saw it.
Let me just see. Okay, wait 1 second. Right, so the question is from, well, the first one, many times clients don't know what to ask or how to identify their needs. So asking those questions helps get to identify those needs. So yeah, I mean, that's going back. Stephanie, do you have anything else to add to that?
No, that was really back to, I don't know which one of the other previous ones I had put up there, but that's what sometimes people don't know what it is that they want or need, or let's say for me in design, they don't know what their style is. So asking questions, you have to be an investigator. That's all was my
Yeah, and that investigator is a great, I mean, that is it. Like, we have to pull sometimes from our clients and just, you know, I'm sure my questions are a lot different than Stephanie's, and are a lot different than Tara. You know, we all have different questions, but get in the mentality routine to ask those questions all the time. And you might have to sit down and really write them down. You know, what are the questions that I need to be asking? Okay. So that's a great point.
I think Tori has a question that's up here. Do you want me to read it out to you?
Sure.
It says, hi, Kim, can you give us some advice on how to build new relationships with prospects right now when we can't really get together? Obviously, calling older prospects just to check in is good, but how do we get in front of people to develop new relationships right now? So, excellent question, Tori, for all of us.
Excellent. And this is what I'm going to say. What I'm doing right now for this webinar, right? I'm building relationships with all of you. Okay, I might be like, call it educating. I mean, I think a lot of people know what we're talking about, but education goes so far, okay? Because one, people respect people that educate. And, you know, I'm not one, I don't like getting up in front of people and speaking. I know some of you are going to be like, yeah, you never could shut your mouth, but it really gives me agita. You know, I don't like to do it, but I do it, and I have a lot to offer. So when I can educate, it's just a different type of networking, right? Well, how many people, we have 20 people on this call today. I'm right now networking. I might not be talking about things specific to everybody's business, but people that are on this call are getting to know me. They're seeing my facial expressions. They're hearing how passionate I am, and I would assume building some trust in people. So I did a webinar yesterday for Central Connecticut on COVID. Okay, definitely a different topic, but I can't get out. So this is how what I'm doing to network. And I think everybody, we can do you can get a group of people. You can take your top 5 clients and just ask them to get on a Zoom meeting and ask them, can you get 5 or 2 of your clients or 2 of your colleagues that you know that are business owners or that do this or that, and I just want to do a Zoom meeting to talk about our newest products. Okay. So if you're in the product industry, find out what's new out there, do a Zoom meeting, and have your clients help you. It's funny. A lot of us don't go to our clients because we're afraid for referrals or whatever, but they want to help you. If they like you and you've been good to them, that's all they want to do is help, especially if you've built that relationship. If you have that already established, the known, the like, the trust, the KLT, then you're in. They'll do things for you. I hope that helps. Let me just see. I don't know if I'm done yet. This is just going through all of the things that we went over. And that's it. So, do we want to open up conversation or any other questions? Anything?
Well, I had another comment. I want to kind of go back to the beginning because I felt, oh, am I on mute? Okay. I felt very connected to what you were saying about making connections. It's something I also do naturally. I always call it trying to find common ground with people. There's always some kind of common ground that you can make. Women to women, even if it weren't part of your business, your mothers. So many times you can connect by just, comparing notes and talking about your kids. If it's your business that you can connect, that you have similar businesses, or that where did you grow up? Maybe you came from, I grew up in New York. So many times I like to sort of in Connecticut here, try to find the other New Yorkers. And there are always connections made that way. So I can't sort of to support what Kim is saying any more strongly, that making those connections, you then are building that relationship at a totally different level than your business level. You're just feeling like, oh, I've got common ground with this person. And so they know where I'm coming from. Anyway.
Angela has a question. Go ahead, Ange.
Oh, hi, ladies.
Hi.
Hi. I really resonate with what you're talking about, because a lot of people think that people in sales and people who are extroverted, aren't introverted, and that it's not hard for us to get in front of a lot of people and speak in front of a lot of people. And I think a lot of people with confidence issues would love to hear how, you got through that, because I still deal with that, and I worked on it, and it's a very difficult skill to master. And if you can talk about some of the things that you've done to help yourself become more confident and push yourself, to do these types of things, I think it would benefit a lot of us.
Yeah, I think, it's funny that you say that, because even like I said, even today, like I get myself worked up and, but I look at, this is what I've always said. You know what? If I screw up, who cares? Like if I start fumbling over my words right now, are you guys going to judge me? And if you do, then I built the wrong relationship, right? And not to say that, but you got to step out of your box. You got to think out of the box and just say, who gives a rat's what? Most of the times when we're talking, especially when it comes to our business, we know more than somebody else. And if you don't know something, then you just be honest. Hey, I don't know it. I'll get back to you on that. But it's stepping out of the box and just saying in your mind, who cares? And that's what I do. If I've gotten up in front of HBRA members and big groups, and sometimes I don't even know what I'm saying. And it's like, you know what? That's okay. As long as I gave it 100% of what I have to offer, that's all that matters. And that's what you need to get through when, you know, you are nervous. I mean, it's walking into a room where you know nobody or you don't know anybody, you know, is a little intimidating. But put those shoulders back and just go forward. Another thing, you know, and Rebecca could attest is, you know, I'm big into meditating and, you know, finding myself. I go for runs, you know, I take time to make myself confident. You know, when you feel good about yourself, ladies, it shows. Okay. Eating, we had Mexican food today at lunch. Well, that wasn't
It
the
was
best thing
fantastic, by the way.
it was fantastic, but it wasn't what I should have eaten prior to getting up and
It was so
speaking.
good.
You know, I should have had a salad that made me feel good. So, you know, think about that stuff. If you have a big meeting, make sure you eat well. Okay, go for a walk, go for a run before, clear your head. And those of you, especially moms that have kids, if you're not meditating, even if it's for 5 minutes, you should try it. Please try it for a week. It is so relaxing, and it's 5 minutes to yourself. And I'm, you know, my kids are older now, but when I was a working mom, that was the hardest thing, was trying to balance and be a good mom, but I wanted to be successful too. And how do you get there? So you have to do for yourself to make yourself feel good, to be confident, to take it to the next level. Does that help? Okay, I think that there was another question.
Peggy has a question. Peggy asked who your mentors were.
Sorry, I'm unmuted now. Hey, Kim. Thank you for the great presentation.
Oh,
I
you're
wanted
welcome.
to know, who were your mentors and how did you get to where you are? You're so successful and everyone's attracted to you. And how did you get to where you are? Who were your mentors?
So I would start off with my mom. You know, I came from a split family, and my mom is a very strong individual. And she pushed me to be who I am. Like, she was very strong-willed. And, you know, going into insurance at the age of 21, and it was an all male world, taught me that, you know, I had to be strong. But my husband was a huge mentor of mine. You know, he told me that I can do whatever it was that I wanted, and I can be whatever I want, and always encouraged me. So he was a great help. The other thing is, you know, the people that I work with are my mentors. You know, I might be mentoring them, but in reality, they're mentoring me as well. So, and then I think, you know, reading. We do a lot of reading here, a lot of motivation books. You need to remind yourself a lot about self-improvement. Nobody's going to do anything for us but us, right? You know, I can't count on John to do something for me that I want to succeed in. I have to do it. And not having pity or poor me, having the attitude of, I made that decision, I need to change it, or, you know, I'm making this decision so I can get there. Nobody's going to do anything for us. And especially as women, we have to remember that. We can do whatever we want, and we can be whoever we want. I came from a single family. You know, my mother raised us. My father wasn't really involved, and she worked 3 jobs. I pretty much kept the house clean, and I cooked for my brothers starting at 12 years old. And I said, darn, I am not doing this for long, and this is not where I want to be. And I just kept telling myself in my head, I want to be successful. I want to be successful. And then it comes. If you believe in what you want to be, you will be that person. And motivational tapes, you know, some folks, you know, through my early years when I had young kids and I was still working a lot, I needed a business coach. I needed somebody to help me when I got stressed. And, you know, a mentor, a business coach can be a great mentor as well. Do we have any other?
And there's one more question in the chat.
We
Okay.
do. So Kim, I'm going to read it to you.
Okay, go
It's
ahead.
from Catherine Stone. Hi, Kim. I was very interested in what you said about not giving away too much. That line can be difficult, especially when proposals need to be specific. Could you go a little deeper into that?
Well, one of the things that I do, you know, there's like, we all can find gaps and we can find things, you know, there's stuff that we want to give out, but you do have to keep some in your pocket. And I think, you know, being able to, and I want to try to figure this out, being able to express your talent, and if it's in a proposal or whatever, and then actually just coming right out and saying, you know, I have a lot more to offer, but I need to know that we have a deal before I can offer that. And I don't know what business you're in, so it's kind of hard. You know, I might be out of line not knowing your business, but I know, like in my business, you know, once somebody knows what I have to offer, when I say there's a lot more here, but you know, we need to make sure that we're doing a deal. This is something else. Don't be afraid to ask, like, all right, what is it going to take to get us to do this deal? Be upfront, you know, and be upfront that, you know, you don't work for, like, I don't go out and quote insurance for people. That's not what I do. You know, I'm here, I'm a trusted advisor to these people. So, you know, I need to know that we're going to have a deal, you know, if I'm going to go deep into it, because I'm not a quoting machine. And I come across like that, and that people respect that. I don't say it in a rude way. I just say, you know, let me, like, I'll just use an example. Like, we won't quote on somebody's business insurance without their original policies. And it's not because, oh, I'm going to come in lower. I could come in lower whenever I want. I mean, every single one of you, if you want, can put together a proposal and come in lower than that person that you're bidding against. Okay? But is that what you want? No. You want to build your value right from the start and have people respect you right from the start. So when they say, well, I'm not, oh, well, you're going to come in. No, because I'm not going to. Because if I can't compete with you, or if I think you have the best package, I'm going to tell you. I'm not wasting my time, and I'm certainly not going to waste your time. And people respect that. And if they don't, you know what? You don't want to be doing business with them. Because it's got to be mutual. Just because we're in a sales industry doesn't mean that there shouldn't be respect on both ends. And that's where a lot of us go wrong, is we feel like we have to give, and we get crapped on. And that should not happen ever. Maybe I answered it, maybe not.
Yes, thank you. You
Catherine,
did.
did you? Okay.
It was very good. Thank you.
That's good. I want to add on to that, in my particular niche of the industry, which there are several designers here in this audience, that so many times people want to either compare prices or discuss discounts on furniture or those type of things. And I always bring it back. I never really answer that question immediately. And I always bring it back to, well, we're not just selling furniture. We are, you know, using skills and experience to design the full space, not just sell the individual item. So I just, you know, share that with you. It's about bringing it back to the value and the bigger picture, and not just coming in at not just giving away the item, the one item, and trying to beat the best price on that item.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that.
So does anybody else have any questions? No, speak up. I don't see any hand raises, okay. Well, or comments, of course, are acceptable, not just mine. But Kim, what a phenomenal role model you are. I think
Oh, thank you.
also, you know, you gave us a lot of great advice. I think we do have a lot of new members, and those new members, many of them have expressed to me that it can be intimidating to both join our group, who have been together for a few years and seem connected to each other, and also intimidating to join an HBRA event where many of us already have relationships with the builders and the other associates. And so I think maybe you gave some direction, not just in confidence, but how to start a conversation, and it doesn't have to be about your business. And it really probably the initial conversation should not be about your business, is what you're saying. And bringing it back to those connections, trying to build those connections and relationships, and that it's not just about your business and what you're selling. So thank you so much for that. I really think that our members, just me knowing the members and getting feedback from our members of what they're looking for, I think that this was wonderful.
Yeah, and any of you that, you know, are at a meeting and, you know, for us that have been there for a while, please come up to us. And if we can help you at all, you know, I think us seasoned people, I'll say it because we've been around for a while, you know, we are willing to give. And that goes back to the go-giver. And I also, you know, I'll tell you, if you guys haven't read that book, read it. It's amazing. And it's a fast read. I read it on a plane ride down to Florida. Rebecca, do you just want to add and I know we're running a little over time, but maybe just add a little bit about, you know, what you've been doing on your goals? Because I do think it's really important that people get goals written down. And, you know, I've been, you know, I look up to Rebecca on how dedicated and strict she's been with hers. So.
Well, so I take it from my girl Rachel Hollis. I think some of you know, Tori, I know you know. If you don't know, Rachel Hollis writes a couple of books. One is Girl Wash Your Face, and the other one is Girl Stop Apologizing, and I absolutely love her. And in her book, Girl Stop Apologizing, she talks about, you know, setting your intentions. And it starts with kind of just picturing where your life is going to, where you want to be in 10 years. But not, you know, not a big picture, like get down to the nitty gritty. Who do you want to be in 10 years? Where do you want to be? Where do you want to live? What does your house look like? Like and you write it all down. And I did that. And, you know, so now I have this picture in my head of what I want my life to be in 10 years. And it's very specific. And then you take that big dream big dream. And you narrow it down to 10. It's 10 dreams. And I write those down every day as if they've already happened. Because if you are in that mindset, you get yourself in that mindset where it's already happened, you're working towards those things that you want to happen. So I write them down every single day. Here's my book. I have these, actually I've bought a few of them ahead of time, so I have them ready to go. And every day I write down my 10 dreams as if they've already happened. And then I have one goal that I'm working on at a time, because you can't work on 10 things at one time. You're not going to be efficient at 10 things at one time. So one at a time, I'm working on that goal. And when I get to that one goal, then I'll move on to the next goal. So I think I shared this with everybody when Angie did her amazing meeting at the beginning of the year, that I want to buy my own place, like my own condo. I know what I want, I know where I want, and that's what I'm going to do. So every day I write, I own my own condo. And that's the goal that I'm working on currently, because it's really important to me. And, so it keeps me focused. It keeps it in my head every day, and every day I also write down 5 things, which that's probably where you got the 5, Kim, that I'm grateful for that day. So 5 things that happened in the last 24 hours that I'm grateful for. And it's little stuff. Like I saw little bunnies out my window this morning, and it made me smile. So that was one of the things I was grateful for. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Rebecca. That's really inspiring. And I think it also ties into confidence, because if you have a goal and you know your goal, you can put your shoulders back and say, hey, I've got my life focused, and so I got this. And then when you have to, meet those new people or present your new proposal to a new client that, makes you shake in your boots, you're working towards something, so it keeps you focused. Anybody else? Because there's sort of a little PWB business thing I want to bring up. Does anybody have any questions or comments they want to talk about?
Thank you, everybody. I really enjoyed this. And again, anybody that has any questions, always feel free to touch base with me.
Yeah, Kim is so true. She is so approachable and so genuine, really.
Oh, thank you.
And she has been a mentor to me, which hopefully you guys will all benefit from. And she will be an absolute asset to HBRA as our new leader come September, I think we
moved it over so it was supposed to be June 1st, but we are moving it to September just because we need to get through this new normal. So yeah, so the first meeting in September we'll be swearing in everybody.
Yeah, which is great.
Which I hope you all will be there, because I can't wait to see everybody in person.
Oh, definitely will be there.
I'm just going to say that I do want to hug everybody when I see you again. So just wear your mask or whatever you got to do, because I'm going to be hugging.
Hugs now. So the business I want to bring up from our very hardworking events committee. They sent out a questionnaire about the type of events that we'd like to, that you as the members would like to have. Social events, educational events, networking events, whatever. So it was this survey, and we're going to ask Carrie and Sarah to resend it. So because we didn't get a very large response. So we just asked, there are actually 30 people on this call, which is it's a great testament to you, Kim. That's the number that we would normally get at an in-person meeting. So that's really great that we, even remotely, we're an awesome group. We support each other, we network together, we look to better ourselves through all of those connections and through education. So please, everybody, please fill out the survey, because we as an organization want to give value to you, what you guys want, and give value to. So anyway, Carrie, I just gave your office a little job there to resend the survey, but if you can, that would be great.
No problem.
Okay.
I did also just want to mention too, that keep a lookout for an invite for Kim's webinar next Thursday. She'll be giving the same webinar she did for Central on COVID. And as we just saw, Kim's a great presenter, so come and join us on that for a lunch and learn on Thursday.
Do you know what time that is?
12 o'clock.
Okay. Okay, all. So wonderful to see everybody's faces. I hope we can see each other soon. And thank you for coming.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Everyone.
Thank you all.
To all. Miss you all. Madonna. Bye.